Hello and welcome aLeague fans to another episode of the aLeague download presented by Isuzu Ute. It was a brilliant weekend of football. Matt Grimaldi sealing the Melbourne Derby at the death for victory. Newcastle continue to climb in the aLeague and getting some momentum as they take down one of the best teams in the competition. And Michael Valkanis, but we might have to give him a segment on this show because his press conferences just keep getting better and better. I'm your host, Jake Valkanis, and as always joined by Melbourne Victory legend Archie Thompson
Jakey.
and Danish goalkeeping legend.
And
Thomas
loser this week.
Hey, you're not a loser, mate. Your team was.
Not you. Okay, thank you.
Hey, how was the derby, guys? A great game.
Great.
We're going to go through it, but I mean, guess you were both covering it. It was brilliant to watch.
Fantastic. I thought the end-to-end game. I thought it had that dramatic finish. Sadly, it was not in my favour, but he's been smiling ever since. You know what? It was a perfect finish. I thought the game needed that.
Oh, a Merry Christmas to you both as well.
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
And to everyone else out there.
Yeah, to all our listeners, we appreciate all the love and support you've been giving the download, and no doubt everyone's going to be having a brilliant Christmas. But we've got to get into the bangers of the round. Wouldn't be an aLeague downloads episode without this woman as well, Rhianna Pollicina. She's back in for the third time here, Thomas. I mean, talk us through this one.
You know, she's on fire. And a great bit, like getting that run in front of the defender, finishing with the right foot. It's actually a difficult finish. And what form she's been on since leaving Melbourne City, where she was struggling to get some game time, but she's an experienced player and like been so important for this team.
I actually saw a quote from her talking about she had options to go overseas, but she chose to stay in Melbourne because she just wanted to play and enjoy the football, and she seems like she's found that at Melbourne Victory.
And good, and she's an experienced player, great for the young players as well, that they've got someone to look up to and build that culture, so good on her.
Newcastle's a bit of the gift that keeps giving at times because they are entertaining on so many levels. But Xavier Bertoncello, what a goal this was. Newcastle lad doing Newcastle things.
Yeah, and that's what I love about this story, especially the 2-0 win against Sydney. But a couple of young boys from Newcastle, Bertoncello just played his football literally just up the road from the Newcastle Jets, and it's always so fantastic when you're scoring for your boyhood club that you grew up supporting. And it was a wonderful finish. I mean, like you said, Newcastle, when they're on song, they're the most entertaining team to watch. And I thought they were fantastic. Eli Adams was another incredible performance by him. But I love the way that this Newcastle team attack.
They've got a few players that can do things like Bertoncello did as well. That's what makes them so interesting.
Yeah.
There's so many young players with so much talent.
Yeah, it's great. And once they stop maybe the leaking up the other end of goals and tighten up a little bit, they're like a real joy to watch.
Yeah, well, Matt Grimaldi was the reason for some headlines on the field in the Melbourne Derby. But I'll tell you what, I was walking outside the ground and this man was making an absolute ruckus. Crowds of people surrounding a Cristiano Ronaldo impersonator. And it even got one of our very own, Archie Thompson, to get in the frame. Archie, what is going on here, mate?
Well, look...
He looks more in awe of Archie Thompson. He's like, I'm happy to get in here.
No, I think it's really great.
He's cracked the Suey as well.
But I saw a lot of the comments. Some were just making a joke of it, like he was the Timu version of Ronaldo. but if he brings joy and he kind of looks like the guy that works at Guzman on Glen Huntly Road in Elstonwick. I'm sure his day job. I'm sure I've seen him there.
Right.
But look, I mean, it's great. I mean, I saw everyone taking photos, and it was just like a good vibe, and I want to be a part of it. That's what you should bring.
Yeah,
right?
and it's an experience for the kids. Like again, he was attracting. They'll come home with pictures, and they've watched the game. They've had this. You know what? Good on him. I don't know how he walks away from the stadium, if he keeps that attire all the way through the city. Or, maybe we should get him on here.
I imagine, his adrenaline must be going because everyone wanted to be in a photo with him. But a pretty cool moment from the weekend nonetheless. But we've got to get into the game, the real stuff. Matt Grimaldi, it seemed like Victory have just turned the corner the last few weeks. We were talking about Arthur Dillers, maybe, is he going to be involved in Melbourne Victory's future? Well, now they're going to be potentially looking at the top 6 with where they're going. But Archie, did you feel Melbourne Victory nicked this game in a real sort of cutthroat fashion, or was it deserving?
Look, I think it was one of those derby matches where it ebbed and flowed, where one team looked like they were going to dominate than the other team, and that's what you want from the derbies. But what we don't see from this actual footage, wonderful hit by the way, there was not too much that Patrick Beach could do there, but it was the way Juan Mata actually ran to the corner to take that corner, and it maybe didn't have the City guys switched on, which they needed to be 90 odd minute, but this is an amazing finish from a kid like we talked about Bertoncello scoring a goal for his home, club that he grew up watching. Exactly the same for Grimaldi, and he's going to go down in folklore because scoring a winner on a derby day before Christmas is a pretty special moment.
Well, it's their first Melbourne Derby win in 5 attempts. So the last one was October 2024. So big moment for him, but also Melbourne victory from a Derby standpoint.
Yeah.
A man that played a big part in it was Jack Duncan, and probably not someone we've spoken about enough, but his 18 months of form has been fantastic. Thomas, I mean, talk us through his game and some of the footage that we're about to see here.
Yeah, I thought he was tremendous. A guy that's waited for his chance. Wasn't playing at every game last season, and again we see these early chances. He was sharp, and then this save is match winning. This came with about 5-6 minutes to go, and he deserved man of the match. I thought it was maybe a little bit of an unsung hero. He sort of flies under the radar for Melbourne victory and doesn't get all the headlines, but I think he deserved it on this occasion.
Archie, it's interesting with Jack Duncan because last year they brought in Mitch Langerack to be the number one, and then Jack was playing so well that it became the discussion of, well, do we put Mitch in? Do we give it to Jack? Which was never supposed to be the case. So he's obviously really taken his opportunity there.
Yeah, and he's quietly gone about his business, and I think that's what I like about Jack Duncan. I mean, he's not all the flair, and sometimes the goalkeepers aren't like that, right? They're not really flary, are they, Thomas?
Some are, but
okay, name names, mate. Who is it? No, but look, and he's done his job, and when he's needed to be ready, he's ready, and Thomas is right. I thought he was outstanding and pulled off some crucial saves.
Well, I want to show you a photo, Archie, of going back a few years now of this one, but I thought this was pretty
How
cool.
young does Grimaldi? Even Archie, come on.
Yeah,
This is obviously the goal scorer, Matthew Grimaldi, but Archie, how did you come across this?
Oh, I'm still just looking at my hair. Like the hairline looks a lot better there than what is it now. But look, I love to kind of message a couple of young guys that are coming through about their performances, and he was one of them, and he actually sent me that photo, and it's just, I love these stories about a kid that's grown up watching Melbourne victory, and then bang, he's on the big stage scoring a winner. And we saw it with Nishan Valupale scoring against Adelaide United in Adelaide, which was the original rivalry. So there's been some big matches, and I love it that it's like someone that's watched them when I was a kid.
Yeah, and this is also one of the unique things about the aLeague is that the fans, because the players walk around, sign autographs, taking pictures. And as a little kid, you get a chance to shake the hands of Grimaldi now and Archie Thompson back in the day. That's what makes dreams, and again, it still resonates with him. And that's how we need to build the football culture here, and you don't see that in the Premier League or anywhere else.
Does Grimaldi's goal, speaking of the youngster, does Grimaldi's goal stand up there with some of the best derby moments of around Christmas time? That Christmas derby we talk about, there's been a few key moments. Archie, you can probably share some as well. But is that right up there, what we saw on the weekend?
100%. I think you look at Mark Milligan's late penalty winner, also too, I think it was Eric Partaloo with a header.
I thought you weren't going to bring it. Otherwise, I would have jumped in.
He was waiting to jump in.
He's scared of me. He's in there. I better mention a City one.
Oh, brilliant.
And that broke a lot of victory hearts, but it has to go down in folklore, especially when you look at the match before Christmas. It just makes everyone, especially in the dark blue, very happy over Christmas.
Yeah, and the momentum, the importance of that momentum for Melbourne victory in this moment in time. So there's a lot of layers to it. And great.
100%.
Yeah, well, I mean, Archie, you've been quite humble over there, but you've got a pretty good Christmas derby moment as well. So
yeah, look,
are you going to put that above your own?
No.
We ask the hard-hitting questions here on the download.
Sorry, Matty. No. That's not beating it, mate.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
Yeah, no.
Well, we did actually speak a couple of weeks ago around Arthur Dillers and the scrutiny. And I guess from our perspective, it's somewhat humorous because we're talking about it and discussing it, but we know how quick the game can change. Well, here we are 2 weeks later and Victory have 6 points.
Yeah.
Looking at their next 4 games, they're all very winnable as well. Wellington at home, Perth at home, Western Sydney at home, and then Adelaide away. I mean, how funny things can turn.
Yeah, no, I think they've found the blueprint because they've been searching, they've been swapping around. Now they've got Santos, who's playing really well on that left-hand side. Mata has obviously come into form, and Valupale is back. I think he can still add 5-10%. He's still a bit rusty, and then Vergers is a different player now. So again, it's looking definitely within a couple of weeks. It's suddenly looking a lot more rosy.
Yeah. Melbourne City, on the other hand, we've got to talk about. We're so used to them being dominant across the A-League, which they continue to be, but obviously with Asian Champions League and some injuries, their last 4 games, they've only been able to get 4 points and a couple of goals in them, which is we're not used to or accustomed to using those sort of statistics with them. Anything to be concerned about for you at the moment, Thomas, or are they having an opening here with 4 home games coming up?
It's obviously a concern if you're not winning consistently, but I'm not worried in the sort of bigger picture because defensively they're incredibly strong. They've got an Andreas Kuhn who I think is one of the best players in the league. They're creating chances, and Archie, I don't know what you think, but we saw Caputo having such a great start to the season. Now he's going through a little bit of he's not scoring at the moment, but how do you see it? Because they need him to score goals.
Well, I always sort of see if a striker's not scoring goals, how do they contribute to the team? And I think I actually texted him after this one because I thought this was probably one of his better performances in the way that he hassled. When he got the ball, he was able to keep possession of it and create a couple of chances, and the goals will come. But I think what he does for the team is so selfless, and that's so important too. And I've got to give another mention. I thought Jurakovic in the middle of the park was fantastic for his first start. I mean, you can see he comes from good pedigree, but he's the way he was winning the ball, his distribution was great. And this is just someone only 20 years old that's just starting his first game it was massive. So like Thomas said, I don't think there's anything to be concerned about, because Melbourne Victory hadn't scored in 4 straight games, and then all of a sudden they go on a little run. So it'll be the same.
I actually saw Emin's dad, Mehmet Jurakovic, for those that don't know, soccer legend, in the crowd watching his son. I thought he had a brilliant game too.
Yeah, proud.
I mean, City, you're right, Thomas. You look at the game, it created a lot of chances. One goes in, it's a different game, right? So they're doing the right things, but the thing that I guess people are associating with them has been the injuries. But it feels like everyone's coming back. Now they're being more available. You've got Naboo back, Leshi's back, Rashani's back. They're obviously just missing Lecky and Suprayin, who are a bit more on the longer-term injury list.
Yeah, I think Lopane and Lawrence Wong are coming back now as well. So, and they've got, I think, 6 home games in a row now. So they don't have the Champions League to worry about. They should bunker down now and get some results. At least that's what I'm expecting over these the next 4 or 5 games.
Yeah, well, those 4 games here, Macarthur, Perth, Sydney and Brisbane, all at home, which, as you said, no interrupted campaigns with the Asian Champions League. No time for them to go and grab some points. As I joked earlier, we've got to give this man a segment on the show. We might have to call this the Valkanis Corner, because the press conferences from Michael Valkanis have been just giving all year. But this was, in particular, pointed towards referees after their loss against Macarthur on just some of the decisions that have not been reviewed by VAR and not given to Brisbane. Let's have a look at it.
So I'm not sure if there's VAR or not, but that's becoming really blatantly frustrating. It's like it doesn't work for Brisbane. So I don't know if there's anyone up there.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously someone up there, Mickey, but...
Up there, all the way up there. Where are we?
I mean, look, I will, just before I get your boys' points, what he did come with a list of in the press conference was a McGarry penalty. These are all that weren't getting reviewed by VAR. So it's not the referees not making the decision, but they're not even getting the third man to have a look at it. So McGarry penalty versus Adelaide, Vidic pen against Victory, Eze throwing punches, which was against Wellington, handball penalty against Western Sydney Wanderers, and another McGarry pen shout, which we're going to have a look at, which was against Macarthur. I mean, is this a bit of a... Here's the shout here, which I don't know what you guys are thinking on this one, but this is the type of situations he's talking about.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree that this is definitely something that should be reviewed, because, again, I think he is hit and late, and you can't argue a penalty. Then the referee can make a second decision. It goes both ways, and some of them I agree, others a little bit more questionable, but the bigger picture is we are questioning what is the right use for VAR, because sometimes you think surely that's reviewed and then it's not, and other times it's suddenly they come in with a decision. I understand his frustration, but don't know what do you think, but I think there's also that sort of bigger picture of him trying to stir up a bit of
fugazi,
bit of
puppet
the
play.
world is everyone is against us. Even the VAR go on holiday when we play, and he's trying to get that
the victim card.
Yeah. So there's two things to it.
Yeah. Well, because I guess it's a timing with obviously the loss. He was emotional too. Yeah. Archie, I mean, you've probably seen these type of approaches from coaches before,
yes.
but. Are you thinking he's playing a little bit of a game here, or does he actually have some merit?
Well, I can understand with that decision that maybe it could have gone to VAR, but then you look on it, it's not a penalty. But then I think it's just have a look at it. And some of the maybe incidences that you mentioned there, that one against Melbourne Victory in Brisbane, I thought that was a penalty. I actually did. But then when you go on the flip side of it, they were probably lucky to get away with a penalty shout from Melbourne Victory where
with the handball.
She's dragged the ball back. And so, yes, I can understand that. But he's also too now putting it out there that the referees will probably be a bit, we're up against Brisbane now, Valkanis. He's going to probably give us some Greek mythology, or he's going to give us some kind of VAR.
Throw in a Trojan horse.
What's funny? Is even Harry Sawyer's now running on the Greek mythology and giving it back. And that's everyone's speaking Latin.
Yeah,
all of a sudden, I'm like, what's going on here across the league?
So now the referees are in their mind going, okay, maybe we should. So he's putting that little seed of doubt in the referee's mind, as you do as a coach, to try to give your team some kind of advantage. But I just missed this week that I don't know what's happened with Greek mythology. Like, I got the Troy, I got some of the, building of whatever.
I've never learned so much in my life.
Oh my God, I wagged.
You have to tune into Brisbane Roar press conference.
I wagged most of my schooling days. So I'm getting some good stuff from Valkanis.
Well, just on Mickey Valkanis, because I guess what he did leave out a little bit is you watch some of the games, sometimes they're getting 5, 6, 7 yellow cards. So Brisbane Roar are actually going in and causing... our producer actually over the weekend called him a UFC collector, which I thought was hilarious. But your experience with him, Thomas, what has he kind of shifted his demeanour and his approach as a coach, do you feel?
He definitely had a different approach when he was at Melbourne City, obviously trying to accommodate the way Melbourne City and the Manchester City style of playing, but he's always had that Greek passion. He had some loud words when I was there as well. But I think he's been to Europe. He's learned to be ruthless, I think. And I respect the coach that comes into a situation and don't just try and, I need to play this way. I'm actually trying to, what do I need to do to make this successful? And Brisbane haven't been successful for a while, so he's come in, we need to toughen up, we need to work hard, we need to be hard to beat. And then, it's not too bad if the world is against us as well. Then we can get the group together and work for a bigger cause. And I think that's what he's trying to create there. And yeah, good on him.
Yeah, well, they've conceded the least goals in the competition with only 5, and they're sitting right up towards the end, the pointy end of the ladder. So they're doing very well at Brisbane. But it took a bit of a sour turn for Sydney FC over the weekend, because not only did they lose the 3 points, but potentially losing one of the best players in the aLeague for even longer, with Joe Lolley coming back on the bench. He came in on the 68th minute and then limped off here. We'll have a look at it with his hamstring as he fired off this shot. This is him in the 68th minute. And then the next angle you'll see is the 88th minute. And this is Joe Lolley, and that was the end of his game. Archie, this is just hard to watch.
Yeah, it is. And, Jacob, we've been through these sort of injuries. You can prepare yourself and go out there feeling like, okay, I'm not going to... the body feels right. And sometimes it doesn't go the way you planned. And unfortunately for Sydney FC, they're going to be missing him. And he's such a key player, and I can understand why they try to push him a little bit faster and maybe put him on in that game where they needed an impact up front, and he's someone that can bring it. And it's just disappointing for them now that he's going to be out for a little while, but I can understand why they made that decision. And yeah, sometimes the body just falls apart.
Yeah, well, I guess the bigger question is now for Sydney FC, but assuming, we're not doctors, but that looks like at least a month, and you're probably going to add a bit more to that to be safe now, based on him coming back and redoing it. But the bigger question is how they're going to fill the best player in the competition's shoes across that forward line. Yeah,
no, we were talking about
Bam Johan
last week, the job and the players he's brought in. And it's a squad game, and you need other players to step up now. Kispe has come in. You got Wallity, who got a goal against Perth, who's playing on that right-hand side. So you just got other players that... Patrick Wood, I think it has been great coming off the bench. Does he get more starting time? So there'll be some decisions that needs to be made. But I think in any A-League squad, if you take their best player out, it's going to be hard to overcome. And so it'll be interesting to follow now. Again, top of the league clash against Auckland. So, be interesting to see how they go in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, Archie, that you're right though. But hamstrings, they are unique. You can only prepare so much. That kind of action. It's going to be hard to see one of the best players in the competition not playing now.
100%. And with the recovery stuff, like you're sort of doing like straight line running, and then you kind of do a bit of diagonal, then you get back into the game. And you have that intensity in training, but not actual game intensity, and where you're not conscious of it all the time. Like you're right in the game. So maybe he's kind of just gone bang, and then all of a sudden it's like, but it just happens sometimes.
Was he probably the best player in the A-League thus far this season, do you think?
Yes.
The Johnny Warren medal was given today.
I think he's definitely right up there, but I think he's definitely Sydney FC's best player.
Yeah, well said. Well, we went out to Wellington and Mandrika James stood up over a penalty as a defender, which might have shocked a few people, but he took it in some style. Let's have a look at it. This was the incident that led to the penalty against the Mariners, a handball in the box, which we've actually seen similar ones not given this year. Nonetheless, it was given. Thomas, would you be licking your lips as a goalkeeper, seeing a centre-back stepping up to take the penalty here? This was a pretty impressive one.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you need a mindset to take penalties, calmness, and then you need the ability to strike it. I think in general, defenders, are good at striking the ball. They're used to hitting long balls, they're used to clearances, and they've got a pretty good technique. I've played with like Robert Huth, who you would never think would take a penalty, but he was pretty good at it. He could hammer it.
Yeah.
And he was very consistent. And I think that's and defenders are pretty tough-minded as well. So, you played with Muscat as well.
Yeah. I mean, you already had a defender your whole career taking penalties.
Yeah, well, really he was taking penalties for the Socceroos. I mean, you can remember that one he took at the MCG against Uruguay. So
that was ballsy too, man. There's about 100,000 people there.
He's got some calzones. Is it calzones?
Yeah, well, let's keep it at calzones.
Cahoonies.
Yeah, cahoonies. Calzone is actually like an inverted pizza. But nonetheless, Archie Thompson, welcome to the show, everyone.
Cajones. I think I stuffed that up before. Calzones or
cajones?
He's got some cajones.
Yeah, and Nutella calzone is very good though, mind you.
But I stepped up once to have a penalty, and I think it was Vukovic made us stop that one, but it bounced straight back to me and I scored. And then I was like, nah, I'm not taking any more penalties. But if you're capable of taking it, and you're right, they've got a good mindset. And also too, if like they miss it, they go, well, I'm a defender.
Yeah.
So it should be the strikers taking it. Yeah. So they've got an excuse, but it was still a great penalty.
Well, the question was, should defenders take penalty? But let's have a look at one of the best players in the competition as a forward. Craig Goodwin steps up against Matthew Sutton. What a save this was, Thomas, in a pretty crunch moment of the game.
Yeah, it's probably something that a lot of people say, you just got lucky. But as a goalkeeper, you learn and you practice to spread yourself with your trailing leg. That's a lot of players do go down the middle, and we've got to give credit to Matt Sutton. I think the way he's come in, he wasn't. He came in late, with injuries, and then he's having a good season. He's pulled them out of the fire a few times, and this is again at the right time. Great save.
Just a bit of a side question here. Adam Griffiths, obviously congratulations for getting the job, but deserving. Is that what you expected based off the 3 wins? Because obviously they've trickled the other way the last couple of weeks. But
my personal opinion on it is yes, and I thought their football was still great. Like that game against Adelaide. Okay, they lost. Even the one before against Sydney. I thought they'd been playing some great football. Usually the Perth of old, before I think Griffith took charge, they would have folded. There was a few opportunities that maybe they had taken. It could have been a different story. But their performances will start to get points for sure.
Right man for the job for you, Thomas?
Yeah, let's hope so. I think Perth, it would be great for them to have a bit of stability, and we'll see when the honeymoon is over and things start to, hopefully he can really develop this team, and we see with Newcastle and other teams, it doesn't take much for it to turn around.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Sabitra Samba Bandari has been one of the star names for the Ninja A-Leagues, and they continue to deliver with some performances and some banging goals. But this was the game of the weekend, a 7-0 whomping of Sydney FC from the Wellington Phoenix. Just a couple of things here. Wellington is coached by Bev Priestman, who was an Olympic-winning coach with Canada. They have plenty of options in attack. Samba, 17-year-old Pia Vlock, Brooke Nunn, who won a title with the Mariners. Some incredible goals here, gents.
Yeah, no, again, great advertising for women's football and also for Wellington, who's a relatively new team in the Ninja Women's A-League, and they've got some individual quality, and to actually trash Sydney 7-0. That's a bit of a statement, and they're still a couple of games behind in the league.
That one's a tough one to watch.
I think
I'm not sure if that's gone over the line as well, by the way.
Benefit of the doubt for the keeper. Goalkeeping union, that wasn't over the line, but it didn't matter at the end. But yeah, great result for Wellington.
And I believe they've got some more games in hand, so they're currently sitting one below Sydney FC, who are 6, which is interesting because they've just been beating them 7-0. But there's a bit of a discrepancy with some of the teams with games, right? So they can jump right up the line.
I think they've got 2 games less than Melbourne Victory, who are at top. So, you know what, I could see them. Yeah, I can see them, being right up there at the end of the season.
Well, we're going to have a look at one of the informed strikers of the A-League men's when we talk about scoring goals and causing havoc. You've got to think of Sam Cosgrove. Let's have a look at his goal against Western Sydney on the weekend and see if we can spot anything abnormal about this. That is Jesse Randall laying down in what we're now calling the ramp position. But gents, I think this has hit his calf. It's gone in.
No, it's a deliberate ramp.
Yeah, no, they've worked on
That's
the
a training ground one, right?
I tried in my time, it didn't work. I don't think I had a partner. I didn't have a strike partner that did that well. Didn't have his boot right in the right
You need
position.
a thick calf as well.
Yeah, my strike partner was pigeon-toed, so he couldn't get Look, Cosgrove, he's a menace. He's been great for Auckland, and you'll score any goal. Whether the defender's knee might have been in the way if it hadn't taken that, but it still looked like it was going on target. So you'll take it.
Yeah, but the bigger picture is, should he actually give that goal
to Jesse Randall?
to Jesse Randall, because he took one away from him early in the season. So, you know what, a bit of fairness, I think. Like you said, would it have gone in without? So, I would give that to Randall.
I'm glad you brought that up, Thomas, because we're going to have a look at, was it a bit of a criminal act here by Sam Cosgrove? But this was earlier in the season, hence why we brought it up. Jesse Randall running in towards goal, and you think, wow, he's set off here. He's in. Oh, he's about to score. And then I believe Sam Cosgrove has touched it right on the line there.
That's criminal.
Yeah.
I think that's...
I think he's tried to shield it off there. Look, and it's just maybe hit his knee.
Yeah.
But they should have probably given that to Randall. That was his goal.
Yeah, well, we are going to talk about some of the teams in the A-League, how it can flip really quickly here. But Auckland seem to be quite stable up the top, and Cosgrove's have been a big part of it.
Yeah, no, I think there was, I've spoken to some of the people there, and when he came in, he wasn't quite fit, but you can see now that he's up to speed, and he's a menace up there. He's physical in the box, and he's scoring goals. So, they've managed to find a little bit of a gem there from the English league, and they look like the team to beat at the moment. They're very consistent. They don't give much away, and they're getting the goals. And Lucky Brooke, your mate,
my man.
He's on form.
He's one of the most really in form in the comp.
Yeah, well, that game against Western Sydney was a little bit quiet that first half, but then the second half, I think Auckland started to click. And you could see the way that when he scored that goal was really great. And then you could look at the bench that Auckland can bring on in any time, and it won't be too long before they're in that 11 as well. I mean, you've got Sacco, Jermamai, Gygos, so there's some great players that bring off the bench. So they are really starting to hum at the moment.
You're right, that triple sub or double sub they keep doing is frightening, because they're practically bringing on players that could be in a starting 11.
Yeah.
To all our download listeners, we appreciate all your support and watching the show. You would have seen the A-League stories every Sunday afternoon now going forward, or the last Sunday afternoon you would have seen it. We put out a question to you, asking you guys what you want to ask us on the show. So you guys can have your chance throughout the remainder of the season of this download. Every Sunday afternoon, you can shoot questions in, and Thomas, Archie or I, whoever's on the panel, will be here to answer them. So we do have a couple. And the first one is, guys, just to build off what we're talking about, Auckland. Dan on Instagram has said, is Sydney and Auckland the biggest game of the season?
This weekend, I would have to say it is. When you look at how Auckland are and Sydney, okay, they maybe have dropped off a little bit because, missing some key players in the middle of the park. Now Joe Lolley's out. They're not kind of maybe scoring as fluent. But Auckland, they are looking the biz. So I think this weekend, that is probably the game to watch.
Yeah, and you're always looking for, the on paper big teams when they clash, because it puts a statement and to the rest of the league. And You know, it'd just be a great watch. I think we every week, you know, there's games. You know, we've just had the Melbourne Derby, now this one. You know, so that's, you know, that's great for you know, for football here and for fans out there watching.
Yeah, can't wait to watch that one. Well, Julian, I don't know why you've sent this one in, because we're trying to keep everyone together. It is the festive season, but this one looks like it could tear the couch apart. But this one is from Julian, as I said. Who would win in a penalty shootout between Archie and Thomas Sorensen? Well,
okay,
guys, I don't know if Archie took too many penalties.
Hey, are we talking like peak of a career, or are we talking today? Because if we talk today, I'm going to pull a hamstring in my first kick, so I'll be out.
Mate, I'll be lucky to get shorts on to get out.
Yeah.
We might even not be able to do it.
Yeah, I reckon you, Thomas. Definitely.
Yeah, oh, well, there you go, Julian.
Okay, well, thank you. I didn't even have to come up with
Who do you reckon? This could cause a bit of...
I don't know, actually.
Nah, you think
now,
see me-
100% Thomas. Back in the day...
Is it because my walk?
Oh, yeah, no. Actually, no, sorry. Now I think you would score. Back in the day, I think Thomas would get you.
Oh.
Yeah, I think... you know,
Only you never took him.
Yeah, that's it. I'm hoping.
yeah, there's a big advantage of being a good goalkeeper than being a good striker in a penalty shootout, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there is. You know,
Where do you stack the chips with the striker, right? Obviously.
but like, we're talking about he has to go in goal as well. You know, so...
Okay, I didn't know that.
Okay, if it's a double setup,
yeah.
I'm giving it to Thomas, man. Archie's got no idea what he's doing.
If we got to make it fair, you know, it's got 5 kicks him, 5 kicks me.
Yeah, okay, good.
Well, gents, I want a Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry
to you
Christmas.
both. Any plans? Anything? You sticking around? What are you guys doing? Archie be playing golf for sure.
Yeah,
No, he's playing golf.
definitely. We're going Aubrey, don't we?
I've got, you know, we got about 8-9 people from Denmark over, so we celebrate on the 24th in the evening. So we'll have the big dinner and all the present there. So I can't wait. It's a family time. So that's the most important thing.
Beautiful.
And you, brother, what are you up to?
I'll be just cruising around here, man.
Oh, okay.
I've got a couple of games on over Christmas.
okay.
You must be playing golf, so I've been called up, which will be great. But no, looking forward to that. But a big thank you to all the Download listeners and supporters. We're going to be taking a break for a week, but we will be back on January 5th, so everything will be back to normal. And of course, the aLeague will keep kicking, and we'll be here talking about it in a few weeks' time. So Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you all. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. That's all from us at the aLeague Download, presented by Suzy Ute. See you then.